welcome to my show, Taken for a Ride in Carlsbad. And looking around me, I'm not going to be taken for a ride in these vehicles, although they are absolutely unique and classics. It looks as though they've been parked here for some time. No parking tickets, however. So let's go and find the owner and let's see what we've got in store for this fabulous show, Taken for a Ride in Carlsbad. Hi ma'am, my name's Guy Lutman and I do a show here called Taken for a Ride, and actually I'm looking for Bob Springer. Hello? I'm sorry? Oh, he's working on a vehicle over there? Thanks very much ma'am, I'll go and see him. By the way, I love your car. See you soon. Bob, good to see you. Wow, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm telling you, I parked my vehicle in your parking lot out the front there. Now, there's a lot of cars being parked out there for a long time. I'm not liable to get a parking ticket, am I?
No, I don't think so.
What's the earliest car out there? I mean, they go back for like tens and hundreds of years.
I think the oldest one's a 1936 Chevrolet.
Wow.
And a Plymouth.
Well, I tell you, when I turned up and looked at that, that is quite a collection you've got out there. But talking of collections, I can't believe what you've got here, Bob. This is phenomenal, and you must be so pleased to have all this under one roof. First of all, tell us about this little deal. What were you doing? Just doing a little work on the engine there?
Yeah, just taking the carburetor off and the air cleaner and
wow,
cleaning it up a little bit.
Gosh. Well, my show is called Taken for a Ride, and I know certainly you're a member of the Cars Club in Carlsbad, and we've had Steve Angel, Dwayne Pearson, and Dave Gump has just done a show with us, but I had no idea you had such a collection. Just tell us how many vehicles you've got just here?
Well, last count there was 15.
15?
So probably should still be 15 here.
Wow. So tell me a little bit of history about how you got into, you know, collecting cars. I mean, do you restore them? Do you buy them, sell them, or bit of everything?
Bit of everything, yeah. Buy, sell, trade.
So how many years have you been doing this?
Shoot, ever since I got my license, that's 15 or 16.
So what was the first vehicle you ever got?
I got a hand-me-down with a 58 Chevrolet. And worked on it and drove it to high school.
Oh wow.
And then just been working on old cars ever since.
So how did you get into it? So you sold that one and got another one?
Started trading them off and on and getting different ones. And,
wow, wow.
And then just started collecting them here about 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now when you say collecting them, do you do a lot of restoration yourself, or do you try to buy them that they're in pretty good condition?
Well, you try to buy them where they're in good condition, like this one here. I bought it just like it is.
Well look, just tell us.
And it needs a restoration, it needs paint, it needs upholstery, but this is all original car. It hasn't been repainted or original upholstery still in it.
So what have we got here, Bob? Just give us a little bit of history.
1940 Chevrolet, two-door sedan. And I understand it came out of Texas. Somebody here in town had it.
Huh.
And came out of Texas, I guess, and got a very low mileage car.
Wow. And this bumper is pretty unique. I mean, that is very unusual. Obviously original, because I...
Yeah, it's original, and it's got a grill guard on there.
Yeah, that's...
That kind of protects that grill from getting damaged.
Okay. Is that pretty unusual? Was that like a spare? Accessory. So they even had accessories in those days?
Yeah. Yeah, like this one's got the bumper guards on the ends, and it's got the grill guard, all that accessory. You could buy a deluxe model or a standard model without all that stuff on there.
So we're looking at a Chevy, very sportsy, may I say, and I love this color. I thought all cars in America were this color. When I came to California some 30 years ago, I was surprised. I thought they were all going to be this color, but of course, we must have been dreaming. But is this an original color?
I don't think so for this year. No, not for 41.
Now, how long have you actually had this car?
Oh, probably going on 4 years, 5 years possibly.
4 years, 5 years. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, noticed you were working on the engine. Could you take us into that engine and just tell our viewers what type of engine you've got in there and all that?
Yeah, it's got a straight six cylinder.
Okay.
But it's a little 50 hot rod. It's got dual carburetors.
Right,
It's got a dual exhaust on it, which normally a 6-cylinder only had single exhaust.
right.
And it's got a few features on it to make it look like or act like a 50s hot rod.
Okay.
An old custom or something.
Well, of course, most of those vehicles, the engines go out, and you put a different type of engine in. I mean, it's impossible to work on some of those. Probably not cost effective.
Right.
But did you do much work on this?
No, this is the way we bought it like this.
Yeah, I love that little deal there. Very nice. Almost, well, it's almost like Art Deco. Now, what did you say the year was on this
41.
one? Yeah, so that's Art Deco. Yeah, I love that trim there. Is that stainless steel or is that chrome?
That's stainless steel.
Yeah.
You'll be able to polish it out like chrome.
Wow. Very,
The
very
difference
nice.
in chrome there and stainless in the back half of that.
Yep, well, I wouldn't have known unless you told me. And of course, the windshield, I love that, the split windshield there. Now, what happens if you have a cracked windshield? I mean, is that history, or can you get a replacement?
Most of this glass is flat glass, so you could take that down to your local glass shop.
Right.
And then have them cut you a piece of flat glass and go right back in it. You
Wow.
really didn't come out with any curved glass really until the late 40s, early 50s.
Right.
So most all these cars only have flat glass on them.
Huh.
It's very simple.
Well, can you show us the inside of this? Because you know, I've got my checkbook with me. Who knows? Wow. Oh, and of course you've got a little bit of lunch there, or
Yeah.
that's. Now, what have we got here? This is how you theme it up, is it?
Yeah.
You've got your little hamburgers and fries, and you got your mustard there, folks. And of course, where would this have gone then?
You hang on your window and you go to
A little drive-in place. Well,
old Sonics or something.
let's try that. I'm not very good at this, but
Little stale.
little stale. Okay, let's get back to the nitty-gritties. Steering wheel, is that all the typically be like that, or is that being sprayed that
Yeah, it was painted that with match the outside. But if you notice, the shifter's on the left-hand side.
Right.
The normal cars, they have it on the right-hand side.
Huh.
They reverse this one so they can shift with their left hand and keep their arm around their girlfriend with their right hand.
Clever. Can I just try that a second?
Certainly.
Gee. Oh my goodness. So they change here, little column change there. Look
Yeah.
at this, and the girlfriend's there. Wonderful. Wonderful. This is absolutely beautiful. Very nice. Does the radio still work?
The original radio still works.
Radio still works, so you still get those old 1940s songs on there. But I can't believe the clutch. It must be a long way to travel down on that.
Yeah.
So starting these things, you pull the choke out. It's not automatic choke, I wouldn't think.
No, it's not. And then your foot, your big button over there next to your gas pedal.
Yeah.
That's the starter button.
Oh, no. Oh,
You
I
push
see.
it, you bump it with gas, and then you hit that button with your foot, and it kicks the starter in.
Wow. That's terrific. Well, we've got a lot more to see, Bob, and this is just the beginning. This is going to be quite an interesting show. I love the little details on this. This must be, what, Bakelite on the...
Yeah.
Wow, I wouldn't like to have to replace those. And there again, this is a nice little detail they've put along there.
Yeah, they put plastic in there, and that was very unusual for the early 40s.
Really?
Having plastic inserts in there.
Yeah. Well, this is very, very nice.
And this is the first year they moved the running board behind the door. In 40, the other car's the black one has a running board on
Yes.
the outside of the car, and it's the first year for that.
Yeah. And of course, these arches on the wheels there, I always love that little sort of a typical American detail there. Fabulous. Beautiful. Fender scoops. You see, I'm learning. Well, let's start from here then. What have we got here? We got another Chevrolet here, I see, with a...
Yeah, that's
little
a
foot-
1935 Chevy Standard model. Standard model meaning they'd used some of the 34 parts, so left over,
Right.
and made you a standard model where they had a 35 Deluxe model.
Okay.
So in this year, these are two of the same year cars.
Right. Looks very English, the front of that, with the big headlights. It almost looks like at the old Austins or the beginnings of the early Jaguars. We must have stolen that from you, or you must. But there again, nice little bumper on the front there. What about replacement headlamps then? Can you still get those, or are they copying them? Or?
Well, the bulbs themselves or the whole
deal?
No, you got to go hunt junkyards and the internet. You can find stuff like that, or people are selling parts still.
Right, right. So original colour, would this, I mean, not the original paint, but would this have been an original two-tone?
Two-tone color, yeah.
Huh.
I always did the fenders in black and the body in the color.
Right.
And I think the purpose of that was if you get a fender bender,
Yeah.
You just paint it black and match it black. You don't try to match the body color.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Well, let's go on to
35 Chevrolet Master Series.
right.
One year that Chevy tried to put suicide doors on the car, and that's original. Suicide meaning the doors open backwards. You go ahead and open it up if you want.
Yes, of course. Oh my! Oh, look at the lovely action on that. Very nice. Oh, fabulous. Gee, that is a very. It's pretty compact in there, isn't
It's
it?
a big car for 2 people.
Yeah.
Except this one has a rumble seat, so you can sit in the trunk in this one.
A rumble seat. Well, let's go and have a look at this. Oh wow, this is.
It's got the steps over there where you step on the bumper and then on the fender.
I see. Yeah, 1 step, 2 step. Oh yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I like that. That must have been that was your air conditioning, of course, in those days.
That the mother-in-law seat.
Oh, okay. The mother-in-law seat. Well, we'll say no more. Color-wise, would this typically have been the color?
Probably
like
close
this?
to it, but I don't think it's original color.
Right, right. And of course, even finishing off the detail here with your spare wheel, it was all part of the design, wasn't it? Absolutely unique.
And this particular model of car here, this is one of 11,000 made that was sold in 1935.
11,000. Okay, well, going on to this little beauty here, which, wow, the finish on this is absolutely superb, and a very, very rich colour. Original colour, would you say, for this?
Close to it probably. They probably had the color in that year on that one.
Right. Now, what have we got here year-wise? It's a Chevrolet?
This was, we talked about 35, this is a 36 Chevy.
Okay. Now it looks...
The difference in the body styles, this don't have that little window behind the door. They call this a 5-window coupe.
Right.
This is a 3-window coupe.
Yeah.
I got that little bitty window behind the doors, and the doors are then hinged from the front again on these.
Okay. It looks as though there's been a lot of restoration on there. Have you done much restoration on that?
No, we haven't bought that one that way too.
Okay.
We did a lot of cleanup work on it. In the engine compartment, we did a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, let's see what we've got under here. Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this engine.
Well, it's a small 207 Chevy 6-cylinder. And they run pretty good. We actually bought this one in Odessa the way it is and drove it home because I went up there to look for parts. And I found one big part. We ended up driving this home from Odessa.
Wow. Well, it must be very tempting to, refuse buying a car, or even, it must be a little bit strange to have to do all the work and then sell it. But of course, you can't hold on to everything.
You can't keep them all now.
What's the longest you've ever sort of worked on a car from beginning to end? You've sort of bought it in a very rough condition, and I mean, a couple of years, what are we looking at?
Well, about 10 years to 11 years on one car. But that was off and on, and finding parts for it. Yeah. When I got it, I just used a shell. I looked for parts and try to make it original.
Wow.
And it took a long time to find parts for it then.
Okay.
Then when the internet came in line here a while back, it made it a lot easier. You was able to find parts a lot easier than going to the other states and swap meets and trying to find them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's unique. I love that, and that's quite a treat to see a little hood being opened like that. Now we get into something really, really ostentatious, I would say. I mean, it's a Buick, I can see. What year are we looking at again?
Another 36.
Wow.
It's a 36 Chevy and a 36 Buick, and you could tell the difference in the size and the luxury part of this one too.
Right, right.
Suspension is superb compared to these. These are like a horse and buggy riding, and this one runs like a new car.
Really?
Well, not brand new.
And of course, an enormous engine you've got on there.
Yeah, this one here's got a straight 8-cylinder in it.
Straight 8.
Yeah,
oh, look at that! Almost looks like a tractor engine. Goodness gracious, that is something else. That really is. Now, how often do you fire these up? Do you start them?
I try to do it quite often, but you don't get to it. The batteries go down.
Right.
And stuff. You got to keep batteries charged. So I don't try to keep a battery in every car. It's just too much.
Right, right.
So I let them sit probably more than I should.
Right. And there again, it looks like they've introduced that spare wheel on here, which is a very nice detail. Very, very nice indeed. And there again, it looks very compact in there.
Yeah, that's a very big car for two people.
It's a big car for two.
But it also got a rumble seat in that.
Now,
And this is actually, in this model, 1 of 1,000 produced.
really, just one of 1,000.
Yeah.
And what was the reason for that?
People weren't buying, they were getting away from rumble seats.
Right.
And they weren't buying the coupes, they were buying mostly family people buying 4-door sedans and big sedans for the whole family around in. And
Yeah.
so it wasn't that they didn't wanted to make more, they couldn't sell more.
Right. So were people sort of touring in those days? I mean, did they have the old little trailers they'd be trained along?
Yeah.
The little
teardrop trailers and stuff they called them. Yeah.
So this right. Now we're getting into something that looks more my era that I could relate to in England. This looks very much to me like an English car on the side.
This is,
What is this?
34 Ford, 1934.
Right.
That's a year that, Bonnie and Clyde terrorized the countryside in a model just like this one. The same 4-door.
Absolutely, that's right. Bonnie and Clyde. You know, it gives me, do you know what the early French Citroens were like? This is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a bit of a Citroen here and then a bit of a sort of a boxed Austin.
Ford actually made an English Ford. It looks like what you're talking about.
Huh.
They got a Ford out there that looks just like that, and they call it an English Ford.
Right.
A smaller car.
Yeah.
It's got the original paint on there still, original interiors in it.
Right.
A little tattered, but.
And this looks as though it's got a sunroof.
Yeah, well, it's a soft top. Back then, they didn't make a solid top out of steel.
Right.
They made a big hole there, and then they put a vinyl over the top of it and covered it in vinyl to save on metal.
Right. Now, no bullet holes, so obviously Bonnie and Clyde never took this one out
Never
for a
had that
spin.
one out, no.
Now, give us a little bit of history about this. Where did this come from?
This came from a guy, I got it out of Flagstaff, Arizona. I hauled it all the way to California when we lived out there, and hauled it all the way out here, and still haven't started it up yet.
Oh, wow.
I've had it almost 20 years. And
Really?
yeah.
That is unbelievable. This must be an absolute dream for somebody to, well, it's a very expensive hobby. You can't call it a hobby. You obviously buy, sell. I mean, it's an investment. You've got to get a return. Probably at the end of the day, you probably earn zero on it. Now, just behind us here, we've got this little engine. Just tell us a little bit about this.
That's out of a 1942 Lincoln Continental. It's a V12 flathead.
Right.
And I got the car at home. I've got the motor restored. It's all rebuilt and everything ready to go.
Right.
It's out of a 42 Lincoln Continental coupe. And there's only one of 200 built in because of the war broke out in 42 and they stopped production.
Right.
And they didn't make very many of them to start with. They're real big luxury cars.
Huh. And of course you've got the gas tank. How much was the price of gas? What have we got? What are we paying for a gallon? 10 cents?
19 cents on that one, 16 cents on the other one.
Oh my goodness. That is unreal, isn't it?
The last time it was used, that's what gas cost.
Really? That's an original gas?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, fire chief, gasoline, my goodness. Well, moving along, of course these these are pretty unique.
Yeah.
These really are. Just give us a little bit of history on.
Well, it's a 1941 Ford Woody station wagon.
Right.
It's entirely made out of wood, except for, of course, the fenders and the front end.
Right.
And then if you look at that headliner up there, those are slats that is covered with that tarp on top. All wooden slats are up there.
So basically, they just took a steel chassis there and then built up from there with these. I mean, beautiful. What is the wood?
It's a hardwood.
Is it an oak or a?
I'm not really positive.
Yeah. So how on earth would one start to restore something like this?
You have to be a woodworker to start with, I guess. And then, this part is all good. The only thing that's separated is these panels, and these are just 1/4-inch panels.
Is it? It's probably ply then, is it? Yeah, it's some sort of plywood.
And then that would, if you find the right wood, you use this for patterns, and you just replace it.
Yeah, yeah.
But the main structure is all good, and
They must have been very, very heavy, Bob, to
Yeah.
maneuver on the roads there. And where did this come out of?
I got this one out of Artesia.
Really?
Sat in an airplane hangar up there for almost 30 years.
Really?
Buried in the corner, and then
So,
I took 2.5 years to buy it off the guy. He kept saying no, he wanted to sell it, but he didn't.
right. And all original?
Yeah.
All original. Gosh. Well, it must have been really, left out in all weathers, and then finally they decided to take it in and store it. But this is going to take quite a lot of restoration, I would imagine.
Yeah, it'll be worth it when it's done, though. These are. It's got a brand new rebuilt motor in it and everything. The guy went through the mechanical parts of it.
Okay.
Already.
Yeah. And that's amazing. That really is amazing with the old liner on the roof there, all original. Duct tape holding it on there.
Yeah.
And what does one do about this then? How would you go about restoring this, Bob? The little
Some people would take them off, smooth it out, and get rid of them.
Right.
And then I would try to find another rain gutter to make it work on there, make it fit, because this is actually coming apart.
And then of course you've got the seals around the windshield looks good, but obviously the seals have gone. Now can you still replace
They're
those?
all available.
Really?
There's a company out there that makes every seal for almost any car you need.
Wow. Well, that's the first time I've ever touched one of these in real life, so that's a bit of an honour for me, I must say.
They got known for being a surf wagon. They put surfboards on them or on top of them. And
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see you got your little surfing shirt in there. Well, let's move on then. Oh, look at this detail here. Even that is nice. They really were incredible designers, weren't they?
Yeah.
Wow. So there's your surfing board. Yeah, I see what you mean now. So this, obviously if you had the bigger surfboard, that would...
This comes up and then you tighten up your little nose.
Oh, yeah. Now you see...
the tailgate will come down and the whole spare tire and everything will fold down.
I was referring to some of the English cars. I actually had a Morris Minor Traveller, they called it, and it was a similar type of deal. You had wood. It was obviously a copy of this type of deal, but of course it was a steel frame on it, but they clad it with wood. But they always rotted out as well. Yeah. But even more so, I suppose, in Europe with the weather there. But nice. Well, it looks like this particular vehicle needs some. It needs a new roof, but it looks a fun car. What's this one now?
It's a replica of a 39 Ford. It's built all out of fiberglass. Got an aftermarket chassis under it.
Right.
And it's very lightweight, but it's a project. It's been a project for a while now. But.
Right. Now, where can you get? How do you get the patterns for these? How do you get these made? I mean,
the tops you'd have to search for. You couldn't get them down here in town. You'd have to go out of town somewhere. And do upholstery shops that know what they're doing, and they could build you a top for this.
Right.
Yeah. Put the padding in there and everything.
Yeah. And this is a replica. That is amazing.
Yeah, I'm starting to mocking up an engine for it. I got a 454 big block that's started in it.
Right.
But it's one of those projects where you do a little here, you do a little there. You don't get into it all at once, and kind of spread yourself around a little bit.
Well, we got a lot to see. This is really overwhelming. We could do, 5 shows with what you've got here, but looking at some of this, we're really going back in time now. Wow.
28 Mahle Roadster pickup. It's a convertible pickup.
Oh. And would this be a little vehicle to go to town in, or this is a farmer?
This was a farm truck. I bought it from the son of the dad that bought it brand new in 1928. Oh. But the son didn't. He had daughters and they didn't want it, so he's getting older. So he ended up calling. Most of these things find me. People call me up. Hey, you want to buy an old car?
But isn't it nice that you've learnt the provenance from it, the history of it? That's what makes it absolutely unique. This looks as though it's just come out of the showroom. What's this one all about?
That's a 1917 Ford.
Yeah.
And that's a 1921 Ford. Both of them come out of Artesia. I got them from the same guy. I don't know a lot about them and where they come from.
Right.
But
And have you taken these out on the road? Have you driven these on the road?
Not yet. I brought them down here and parked them, because they're unique themselves. They got 3 pedals in there you operate them. There's no stick shift, no gear shift. You got a
Oh wow.
forward, you got a reverse, and you got a brake.
Yeah.
And here's you get going in low gear that way, you throw that forward and it throws you into the
Yeah.
second gear.
And look at this steel steering wheel. That is.
That's right out of horse and buggy days.
Yeah. That is nice. That is.
These things are kerosene lanterns. You pull that down and
Oh.
light a wick in there and you put kerosene
yeah.
in them. The tail light's the same way.
I mean, look how advanced they were with the windshield. I mean, the detail, the bit of engineering there, that is really unique. And I can remember trying to start a vehicle with the old handle there. Yeah. That was something we always remember in England. You know, you'd look out the window and the neighbour would be out about 5 o'clock in the morning trying to start the... But look at the suspension on that as well.
Yeah, no front brakes, just back brakes.
No front brakes.
No, they didn't have them back then. A lot of these Model Ts didn't have front brakes on them.
Right. Yeah. Now, of course, I suppose when you put all this together, I mean, this is more like a museum to me you've got here. But of course, as I said, it's not easy to hold on to these things because you've got to move on with turning over the inventory. But what have you got being restored at the moment? Have you got many big projects on?
Yeah, I've got a little restoration shop over there. I'm working on a 36 Ford and a 55 Mercury. And then I've got a buddy of mine's car in there that's working on an old 29 Model A.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So,
Now, with the Cars Club in Carlsbad, a lot of the guys there, a lot of the members, do they restore a lot of their own vehicles, or they come to you, or you share a lot of information?
yeah, we kind of share information and stuff, but they normally got cars that are not quite that bad. They're drivable.
Right.
We just work on them little by little as they drive them and fix them up, but they don't
Yeah.
go to the extreme of tearing them down. Well, some of them do, but not too many.
Well, I'd love to have a look at your workshop.
Sure.
But before we do, I'm a little bit worried about this guy here. Just tell us a little bit about this. Where's the engine on this thing?
Yeah, it's built in 1870. And it's one of White City's relics. It's come out of White City Museum.
Okay.
That and the little pickup next to it.
Yeah.
We got online on the auction and put a bid on it, and we won it.
Well, good luck to you because it's gone to a good home. Now, is this all original? We haven't got anybody in here, have we, hiding?
Yeah, there's somebody in the back trying to get out right there.
I love this work here as well. That's a nice bit of...
If you clean it up, that was silver plated also.
Yeah, I can see. It's beautiful quality. Beautiful. Oh, I see what you were talking about. Yeah, you have got somebody in the back there. It looks as though he's been waiting for a long time to take a little ride, but... let's go over to the next vehicle here, and then we'll get to your workshop. This looks as though, did you do this, or is
That's
this
a kit of a replica of a bed that they used to turn into pickups in these Model Ts. They used to take out the little trunk like that red one had down there, and then they put on a bed for the farmers to do that, to haul produce around and all this other kind of whatever else they had to do.
Yeah.
But that's a kit.
Yeah, well, it's nice quality. It looks like it's some hardwood, a bit of oak or something, but well, if you don't mind, would you like to take us over to your workshop and
Sure.
let's see what else we've got in store for us. And I just need to say something to somebody before I go, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Nice to have met you, man. See you later. Just going over to his workshop, okay? See you soon. Nice car, by the way. Well, Bob, this is it. This is your workshop, and
This is home away from home.
well, just tell us a little bit about this workshop, where it all starts. This particular car, for instance.
This one I drug out of somebody's backyard and worked on the mechanicals. Got the car up and running, got the brakes working, got it drivable, so you don't have to push it around too often. I can start it up and drive it now. But it's something in works. It's not going to be a total restoration. It's going to be cleaned up, painted, repainted. A little bit of upholstery work. And
so what have we got here? What is the make of this?
this is 1955 Mercury Montclair. And in 55, it's unusual to have a car with a factory air conditioning, but this got factory air conditioning in it.
Huh.
The unit's in the trunk back here. The air passes through these things, through the unit and up these tubes,
Oh, wow.
and then up and then drops down on top of the unit on the inside.
So this was very, very revolutionary for that period of time.
1955, yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed that the window here, the rear window, that folds right the way down. So it really is a cabriolet. I mean, it must have been superb to drive down the beach in wherever.
Well, these got the nickname Turnpike Cruisers.
Turnpike cruisers.
Yeah, because they're a pretty heavy car and they ride really soft.
Right.
And they, I don't know where the name come from unless they've been on a bunch of turnpikes, but.
Well, I'm thinking more like Laguna Beach or, you know, San Diego along there, coasting along there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
or even Route 66.
Oh, yeah.
It's so right for that period. Now this looks as though it's the original seats in there.
Well, those bucket seats are not. Those are out of another car.
What was it? A bench seat before?
So it was a bench seat before.
Huh.
And these kind of look like they fit in there, and they look like they belonged in there. So the bench seat was pretty messed up, so I put these in temporarily to see how they'd work. They're actually out of a 65 Thunderbird T-Bird.
Gosh. Yeah.
The windshield had a big hole in it, so I'm in the middle of replacing it.
Right.
Take the old one out and clean up all the edges, and then we'll get a new windshield pretty soon.
And I love these little wing mirrors here. Very nice. Very nice.
It's got the original engine still in it.
Huh.
And it's been redone. And all the mechanicals, like I said, it starts up and runs and drives down the highway pretty good.
Gosh. And look at that grille on the front. That looks as though it was cast in one, but it wasn't, of course. Now, is this stainless steel or is this chrome?
The grill part is probably stainless here, and
Yeah.
the bumper is chrome.
This is phenomenal, this.
Look at it, actually looks like it's got two bumpers on there.
Yeah.
One bottom and the upper one.
Yeah. Beautiful design.
It probably weighs a couple 100 pounds.
Yeah, even this, the little hood ornament there. Very, very nice. Yeah, I like this car. I like it very much. Mercury,
It's got that chop top appearance. The top isn't too tall.
right?
The lines on it are really nice.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we go from one extreme to the other because this is obviously the finished product we've got here. This looks absolutely mint condition. Has this just been resprayed?
Yes, just been redone. Just finished it up the end of last year. Tore it all the way down to the frame, and then worked on the panel piece by piece until we get it straightened out.
Yeah. And
The appearance could be deceiving. It's not an original car.
really?
It's got disc brakes, rack and pinion
Oh.
steering, and
So it drives like a regular car.
like a brand new car. Yeah.
Now you've been doing the restoration on this,
Yes.
and how long has this taken to?
Well, since I started, it's probably about a 3-year project.
3 years. So what do? Do you sort of move from one to the other? It must be very difficult to discipline yourself to say, I'm going to get this finished. It's almost like building a house.
Well, it's difficult in dealing with trying to get parts here and there. So you do the easy stuff first on each one, and then you graduate to the harder stuff, and then you might take like the upholstery. I've got a kit coming for it. It'll take 3 weeks to a month to get it.
Right.
So you got to have patience. You can't
Yeah.
get it all done in one way.
Now, what about the dashboard? I know
That's-
our
that's-
viewers can see the dashboard in there. Is that?
That's painted to look like wood. It's like wood grain. All the old cars back in the 30s used to do a wood grain finish on their interiors.
Yeah, because I was just talking in one of my earlier shows. I had a Worsley 1500. It was about a 1964, 63, something like that. But I actually had a worn-up dashboard on it. I loved it. My wife hated it, but I loved it.
Yeah, all
but
those-
that's pretty unique. I mean, that's a work of art.
Yeah, it takes an art to do it. I didn't do it. I haven't done it, but the gauges are the original gauges, but they all been refurbished with a modern engine and everything.
Interesting. Very interesting. And of course, they got the old soft top again.
Soft top on this one. Yeah.
And how far does that fold back?
That doesn't fold back. That's solid piece in there.
So why was the use of that then?
Because they didn't have the metal. They didn't use the metal to make a full top back then, or they didn't have the technology to stamp it out yet.
Really?
Ford had kept it into 36 and they Chevy 35 went to all steel top.
Wow.
They had
Yeah.
these all the way back to the 20s when they had their soft tops like that.
I suppose when you think, yeah, the tooling in those days, it wasn't easy.
Right.
This must be absolutely unique because, you know, talking about tooling, I mean, I'm just looking at this little bit of work here. Now, first of all, tell us, this looks like a German car. This doesn't look like an American car.
It's a 1935 Chevy, built in Belgium.
Belgium.
And not a lot of history I've learned so far on it. I've found some pictures that they made them, but I haven't found any information on them that I could document it or anything, or even seen advertisement on them or anything. It's just an unusual car.
Very unusual.
It came up from Argentina.
All right.
So I have a right-hand drive Chevrolet, and I guess like somebody told me most of your island countries were right-hand drives.
Yeah. But just tell us a little bit about the provenance. You said Belgium?
Yeah.
So there was an American factory in Belgium?
There was a GM plant in Belgium in the 30s, which of course got bombed and destroyed in the 40s.
Right.
So any kind of information you have on something just would be lost.
Well, it reminds me, I mean, you see some of those, you know, World War II movies and, you know, typically you see these German officers driving in these vehicles. That's what it reminds me of.
And then, you know how your Volkswagen tops fold down?
Yeah.
They stick way out the back of the car?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way this one does. The top will fold down, but it'll stick out way past the trunk once it's folded in the folded position. It'll stick way out there like a Volkswagen. So it kind of got probably some German in it somewhere.
Yeah. Well, out of all the vehicles that you've shown me in this superb program we've got to show our Channel 23 viewers, which is your, you know, shall we say the most rare car you've got?
It would have to be this one right here.
This one?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It's the only one I've seen or even heard of.
Really?
I've been on the internet talking to people over in the UK and those places that come from that area, and they don't believe it either.
So are you going to fully restore this?
Yes, eventually I will. It'll probably take 10
So
years.
this is going to be your retirement, Bob.
Yeah.
But you probably never ever retire because, you know, the amount of cars Bob's shown us, it's a lifetime's work. What have we got in here?
We've got a 37 Chevy. It's in the works.
Oh, look at this! A 37 Chevy. Oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. Huh.
It's in the works. It's in body works. It's stripped down to metal and been primed right now.
So how many coats will you give this? This is a primer, you rub this down afterwards?
So you sand it down smooth, and you do all your imperfections and a little body work here and there, and then you put your paint on it.
Be like a brand new car.
You look like the one out there.
Yeah, absolutely superb. Bob, it's been an absolute pleasure for you to share.
One more out here.
More we've got? Wow.
Much is good here.
Watch the step camera, guys. Well, we've got more. Oh dear. I thought we were ending the show back there, but this is absolutely unique. Unique. What have we got here, Bob?
That's 1931 Ford, Model A Ford.
Model A Ford. Well, where did this come from?
That's a buddy of my car. We got it over here. I'm going through the engine here and working on and getting it all cleaned up and stuff and get it running for him.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there, see if he wants to go into a restoration or not, or just enjoy it the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, look at the gauging of this mud guard. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So this would have been pressed out in one piece?
Yeah, stamped out.
Stamped out in one piece. And that must have been some incredible machinery to stamp
Some
that
of them
out.
presses were probably bigger in this building. They're of course taller in this building. They were probably 4 or 5 stories high. Some of the presses they used to do this stuff in.
Yeah. And then of course there's a lot of hand welding that was done with that. A lot of people don't appreciate the actual labor that went into that.
They were pretty primitive back then too.
They were, yeah. I mean, even this was obviously stamped out, but it had to be somehow attached to the main frame there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty unique, pretty unique. And even this little detail here, that looks as though it's a little brass door catch there, and even the finish on these little door handles. Beautifully done. Bob, I am so impressed, and I'm sure your wife enjoys sharing this with you.
Well, she didn't. We wouldn't have as many, so yes, she does. She's probably just as much into it as I am.
And does she help you with some of this?
Often she does, yeah. When there's something too, I can't live by myself. I get her out here to
Right.
help me.
Well, I imagine you're the envy of a lot of people. A lot of people love to do this. You obviously, you know, it's very time consuming, very expensive, and I suppose you've got to be careful it doesn't run away with you.
It's a lot of work.
And
It snowballs on you. It can snowball.
it must be difficult to part with them. But there you go. You got to turn.
It used to be. Nowadays, it's becoming more easier to get rid of, to sell them.
Right. Well, sadly, I've got to go, Bob. I really appreciate you sharing this with our viewers, and I've got to go and get in my Ford truck now, which I think I couldn't borrow one of those for the weekend.
One of them rusty ones?
Oh, one of the rusty ones. You heard it on Taken for a Ride in Carlsbad. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks. That's great.